Imagine a world where the sun reigns supreme, a vast, golden dome stretching from horizon to horizon, baking the earth below. Cities, carved from the very dust of the desert, rise like ancient dreams, their walls absorbing the day's fierce embrace. How, in such a relentless landscape, did life not just survive, but flourish, finding pockets of cool serenity amidst the shimmering heat? Tonight, we journey back to uncover the quiet wisdom of those who mastered the sun, transforming its power into a gentle rhythm of existence. Good evening, and welcome. As you settle into your own quiet space, know that you are invited to drift into slumber at any moment. Tonight, our journey begins not with a race, but with a gentle stroll, a mindful step back through the ages to a time when ingenuity and deep understanding of nature were the keys to comfort. We travel to ancient desert cities, places where the sun was both a giver of life and a formidable challenge, and where people learned to live in harmony with its powerful presence. Picture, if you will, the vast expanse of the desert itself. Endless, rolling dunes, painted in hues of ochre, gold, and burnt sienna, stretching out under a sky of intense, unwavering blue. The air shimmers above the distant horizon, a silent dance of heat rising from the parched earth. Feel, for a moment, the dryness of that air, the fine, almost silken dust that settles on everything, a constant reminder of the desert's pervasive reach. The sun here is not merely bright, it is a palpable force, pressing down, urging stillness. Even the shadows seem to shrink away from its intensity, clinging tightly to the rare contours of rock or sparse, hardy vegetation. But then, as your gaze slowly sweeps across this majestic, formidable landscape, a shape begins to emerge in the distance. A cluster of muted tones against the brilliant backdrop, a geometry of ancient walls rising from the very earth they protect. This is an ancient desert city, a testament to human resilience and cleverness, a haven carved out of the seemingly uninhabitable. As you draw closer, the individual forms become clearer, sturdy walls, often made of sun-dried mud brick, their surfaces textured and warm, holding the memory of countless sunrises and sunsets. These aren't pristine, gleaming structures, but rather living extensions of the earth itself, blending seamlessly into their surroundings. Imagine the sound now, as you approach. The distant, almost ethereal whisper of the wind, carrying the scent of dry earth and mineral dust. Perhaps a faint, high-pitched hum of insects, or the rustle of a palm frond. But as you near the city gates, these sounds soften, giving way to a different kind of quiet, a calm, enclosed hush. The monumental walls, often thick and imposing, seem to absorb the desert's roar, offering a promise of refuge. Stepping through the gate, you immediately feel a subtle shift. The brilliant, unfiltered glare of the open desert yields to a dappled, softer light. The streets within are narrow, winding pathways, often deliberately so, designed to cast perpetual shade. Look up, and you might see strips of sky like indigo ribbons above, with the upper stories of houses leaning in, almost touching, creating a canopy of sorts. The ground beneath your feet might be packed earth, cool and firm, or flagstones, worn smooth by generations of footsteps. The air, while still warm, feels different here. It holds a breath, a memory of coolness, a sense of being contained and protected. The walls surrounding you are not merely barriers, they are active participants in moderating the city's temperature. Their thickness, their earthy composition, allows them to slowly absorb the day's heat, releasing it gently only when the night air turns cool. During the peak hours of the sun, they stand as silent guardians, deflecting its fierce rays, creating deep, inviting shadows where life can slow its pace. Listen closely, and you might almost hear the walls themselves, whispering tales of long-past days, echoing the soft murmurs of conversations, the gentle clatter of daily tasks, and the steady, unhurried rhythm of life lived in harmony with the sun. Allow yourself to simply be present in this ancient space. Feel the subtle coolness that emanates from the shaded walls, the gentle currents of air that might stir down a narrow alleyway. The pervasive warmth is still there, yes, but it is a softer, more manageable warmth, filtered and tempered by human ingenuity. This first impression of the city is one of deep, abiding peace, a sense of having found sanctuary. The harshness of the outer world recedes, replaced by an inner calm, a quiet invitation to explore the many clever ways these people found respite, not by fighting the sun, but by understanding and embracing its cycles. For now, simply rest in the gentle embrace of these ancient, whispering walls, letting their steady presence guide you towards stillness and a quiet sense of comfort. Now, let us turn our thoughts to the very skin of these ancient cities, to the silent, steadfast architecture that stood as the first line of defense against the desert's fiery breath. Imagine, if you will, the early morning light beginning its slow ascent, painting the world in hues of soft gold and rose. You stand at the edge of one of these sun-baked settlements, a place where human ingenuity was woven directly into the very fabric of the buildings. The most immediate impression, perhaps, is the sheer solidity of everything. Look closely at the walls that define these ancient homes and public spaces. They are not thin, fragile barriers, but rather massive, earthen forms, often crafted from sun-dried mud bricks or sturdy stone where it was plentiful. These walls, rising perhaps 2 or 3 feet thick, were the architect's first, most profound answer to the sun's relentless call. During the long, bright hours of the day, they would slowly absorb the heat, drawing it deep into their core, much like a patient, silent sponge. But this absorption was slow, so agonizingly slow, that the heat rarely penetrated to the interior spaces until the sun itself had begun its descent. By then, the outdoor temperatures had softened, and the heat held within the walls could gently radiate outwards, mingling with the cooler night air rather than adding to the day's oppressive warmth inside. As you step closer, notice how these structures are often nestled together, almost leaning into one another. The streets, rather than being wide, open thoroughfares, are often narrow, winding passages, creating a labyrinthine embrace. This wasn't merely for defense, though it served that purpose too. No, these tight pathways were a brilliant, collective act of shade-making. The tall buildings on either side cast long, deep shadows across the street below for much of the day. Imagine walking along such a path, the blinding glare of the open desert giving way to a cool, dappled twilight underfoot. The air here, trapped and shaded, remains refreshingly cooler than the air just a few feet above the rooftops. Feel the difference as a gentle breeze, perhaps a mere whisper, drifts through these shaded canyons, carrying with it the faint scent of dry earth and ancient stone. Many homes and public buildings were designed around a central courtyard. Step inside one now, leaving the narrow street behind. The transition is immediate and palpable. Here, within the embrace of the walls, a microclimate is born. The courtyard, often open to the sky, acts as a thermal chimney, encouraging warmer air to rise and escape, drawing cooler air in from below or through strategically placed openings. Sometimes, a small pool of water or a single, tenacious tree stood at its heart, offering not just visual beauty but also a subtle, evaporative cooling effect. The light here is different, no longer direct and harsh, but filtered, reflected, and softened by the surrounding walls. Listen for a moment. The sounds of the bustling city outside seem to recede, replaced by a quiet hum, perhaps the gentle rustle of a palm frond in the courtyard, or the distant murmur of voices, softened by the thick, cool stone. And look upwards, towards the rooftops. In many of these ancient cities, The roofs were flat and thick, echoing the insulating properties of the walls. These provided a safe, cooler space for activities during the evening and night, far from the residual ground heat. During the day, they acted as another layer of insulation, preventing the sun's direct assault on the living spaces below. Some advanced designs even featured ingenious wind catchers, towering structures that rose above the rooftops. These architectural marvels were designed to capture the cooler, higher breezes, funneling them down through shafts into the heart of the buildings, creating a natural, refreshing flow of air. Imagine the delight of feeling that cool current waft through your home on the hottest of days, a silent, unseen servant of comfort. Even the placement and size of windows were carefully considered. Often, they were small, high, and strategically positioned to minimize direct sunlight, while still allowing for some natural light and ventilation. Sometimes, they were screened with intricate wooden lattices or thick, woven mats, further diffusing the light and filtering the incoming air. These architectural choices were not merely functional, they created a sense of intimacy, of sanctuary, within the home. Allow yourself to relax into the quiet strength of these ancient structures. Feel the cool, steady presence of the thick walls, the gentle shade of the narrow streets, the refreshing breath of the courtyard. These architects of old understood the desert not as an enemy, but as a force to be respectfully engaged, its energy redirected, its challenges met with elegant, enduring solutions. Let the wisdom embedded in these silent stones settle over you, a profound sense of comfort derived from masterful design and a deep understanding of the natural world. As the golden light of the desert day softened, a new kind of magic began to unfold within the ancient cities, carried on a whisper and a gentle flow. Imagine, if you will, the profound silence of the vast, sun-baked landscape, broken only by the sigh of the wind across the dunes. Then, within the cool embrace of city walls, a different sound emerges, the soft, murmuring song of water. This was not merely a convenience, it was a lifeblood, a precious gift, and the most exquisite serenade of coolness in a world defined by heat. For the people of these timeless settlements, water was a treasure beyond measure, meticulously coaxed from distant mountain springs or drawn from deep, hidden aquifers. Picture the incredible ingenuity of ancient engineers, who, with patience and profound understanding of the earth, delved into the ground, crafting vast, unseen networks of underground channels, the canats, or foggeras, that gently sloped for miles, often for days of travel, bringing the life-giving liquid from its source, protected from the sun's thirsty gaze. Or perhaps, imagine the patient labor of digging deep wells, their cool depths promising a restorative draught, often with a subtle, earthy scent rising from their cool embrace. Once captured, this precious flow was not merely consumed, it was celebrated and integrated into the very fabric of daily life and architectural design. Envision the heart of a home, a serene courtyard, where the most cherished feature was often a shallow pool. Its still surface, perhaps adorned with floating petals or the slow-moving reflections of palm fronds, offered a visual balm. But its true magic lay in the unseen dance of evaporation. The water, slowly ascending into the dry air, carried away a whisper of heat, leaving behind a subtle, refreshing coolness that spread through the surrounding arcades and into the rooms beyond. Feel that gentle, almost imperceptible shift in the air, a delicate caress against your skin, as the invisible currents of moisture begin their quiet work. Listen for a moment to the sounds that would have filled these spaces, the gentle plash of a small fountain, its delicate spray catching the dappled light as it returned to the pool below. The rhythmic trickle was more than just sound, it was a constant reminder of abundance, a lullaby that soothed the senses and calmed the mind. The very air around these water features felt different, softer, imbued with a subtle freshness that carried the faint scent of damp earth and growing things, perhaps a jasmine vine or a fig tree, thriving by the water's edge. Beyond the elegant pools and fountains, water served in simpler, yet equally effective ways. Imagine the daily ritual of wetting down floors of terracotta or stone, the sudden hiss as the water met the warm surface, followed by a rush of cool vapor that momentarily cleansed and refreshed the air. Or consider the common practice of hanging wet mats or screens woven from reeds in doorways and windows. As the dry desert breeze passed through these damp barriers, it too would become laden with cooling moisture, entering the home as a gentler, more forgiving breath of air, carrying with it a faint, reedy perfume. These simple evaporative coolers, powered only by the sun's heat and the earth's dry air, transformed the very atmosphere within the sun-drenched homes. The gift of flow extended even to personal comforts. Picture a merchant, returning from the bustling marketplace, seeking refuge in the shade, perhaps splashing cool water onto his face and hands from a clay jar, or soaking his feet in a basin. Even the act of doing laundry, when water was available, contributed to the overall coolness, as damp clothes hung to dry within courtyards added their own evaporative blessing to the air. The very presence of water, whether seen or heard, felt or smelled, held a potent psychological power, a promise of relief and renewal in a land that could otherwise be unforgiving. As the sun dipped lower, painting the sky in hues of deep orange and violet, the cooling serenade of water continued its quiet work. The air, softened by the day's evaporative dance, invited a deeper sense of ease. The gentle murmur of the fountains, the cool breath rising from the courtyards, the lingering scent of damp earth, all conspired to create an atmosphere of profound tranquility. Allow these ancient sounds and sensations to wash over you now, carrying away any lingering warmth from your day, leaving you with a sensation of cool, calm peace, as gentle as the flow of a desert spring. The cool fingers of dawn would trace the edges of ancient desert cities, a brief, precious reprieve before the sun's full embrace. Listen for a moment to the soft murmurs that would begin to stir with the first blush of light. Not the clamor of a modern awakening, but a gentle unfurling, like a desert flower opening to the dew. Imagine the feeling of the pre-dawn air, crisp and fresh, carrying the faint scent of damp earth from the watered gardens and the promise of a new day. This was the time for vital tasks, for the quickening pulse of life before the heat grew too fierce. Women would quietly fetch water from wells or communal cisterns, their footsteps light on the cool, packed earth, the gentle clink of pottery jars a rhythmic counterpoint to the chirping of awakening birds. Merchants would begin to set out their wares in shaded market squares, arranging baskets of figs and dates, bundles of fragrant herbs, and rolls of vibrant linen, hoping to catch the early buyers. The air, for a fleeting hour or two, was a tapestry of sounds, the lowing of a distant goat, the drone of a millstone grinding grain, the hushed greetings exchanged between neighbors. Children, too, would enjoy these cool hours, perhaps playing quiet games in shaded courtyards, their laughter soft, their bare feet cool on the flagstones. As the sun climbed higher, casting longer, sharper shadows, the rhythm of the city would subtly begin to shift. The initial flurry of activity would slow, a natural response to the increasing warmth that radiated from the sun-baked walls. The light would change from the soft gold of dawn to a brighter, more insistent glow. People would retreat indoors, seeking the cool embrace of their thick-walled homes, designed specifically to buffer against the midday sun. Imagine stepping from the bright glare of the street into the dim, cool quiet of a mud-brick dwelling, the air inside noticeably fresher, carrying the faint, earthy scent of clay and perhaps a hint of stored grain. This was the time of the great respite, the sacred midday siesta. It wasn't merely a break from labor, it was a profound acknowledgement of the desert's power, a wise adaptation to its demands. Work that could be postponed was put aside. Heavy tasks were unthinkable. Instead, life moved inward, becoming calmer, more reflective. Families would gather in shaded courtyards or cool, inner rooms. The sounds of the city would hush to a whisper, replaced by the gentle hum of insects, the distant gurgle of a water channel, or perhaps the soft breathing of someone resting. Picture yourself in such a scene, perhaps reclining on a woven mat, your head resting on a simple cushion, the air still and heavy, but blessedly cool within the thick walls. A light meal might be shared, perhaps flatbread, olives, cheese, and a handful of dates, washed down with cool, fresh water from a porous clay jar that kept its contents chilled through evaporation. Conversation would be hushed, or perhaps there would be comfortable silence, punctuated by the soft drone of a storyteller's voice, weaving tales of ancient heroes or desert lore. Many would drift into a deep, restorative sleep, allowing their bodies to fully recover from the morning's efforts and prepare for the evening ahead. The world outside might shimmer with heat, but within these sanctuaries, time seemed to slow, almost to stop, offering a precious pocket of peace. As the sun began its slow descent, painting the western sky with hues of orange and rose, the city would gradually reawaken. The shadows would lengthen, stretching cool fingers across the streets and courtyards. A gentle breeze, carrying the faint scent of cooling earth, might begin to stir. People would emerge from their homes, refreshed and re-energized. The evening hours were a time for renewed activity, but at a more relaxed pace than the morning. Social visits would take place, neighbors sharing news and laughter in the fading light. Craftsmen might resume their intricate work, their hands steady in the cooler air. The aroma of cooking fires would begin to drift from courtyards, signaling the preparation of the evening meal, often enjoyed outdoors under the vast, darkening sky. Children, once again, would spill into the streets and open spaces, their energy renewed, their playful shouts echoing softly against the cooling walls. The air itself would seem to breathe a sigh of relief as the intense heat receded, replaced by a gentle warmth that invited lingering. This cyclical rhythm of intense activity, profound rest, and gentle reawakening was not a burden, but a natural flow, deeply ingrained in the very fabric of daily life. It was a testament to a quiet wisdom, an understanding that sometimes, the most effective way to live with the desert's power was to yield to it, to move with its pulse rather than against it. Allow your mind to drift now, imagining this ancient rhythm. Feel the quiet stillness of the midday sun held at bay by strong, cool walls. Sense the peace that comes from a life lived in harmony with the natural world, a life where rest is not a luxury, but a vital, shared necessity. Let the gentle cadence of this ancient day, with its ebb and flow of warmth and coolness, activity and repose, settle over you, inviting your own sense of deep calm and quiet rest. The wisdom of the desert, in its subtle teachings, offers a profound peace. As the sun began its ascent, painting the eastern sky in hues of soft rose and deep saffron, life within the ancient city stirred, not with haste, but with a gentle purpose. The cool pre-dawn air, a fleeting gift of the desert night, still clung to the narrow alleyways and enclosed courtyards. This was the precious window when inhabitants prepared themselves for the day ahead, a day that would unfold under the relentless gaze of the desert sun. Part of this preparation, a quiet ritual of comfort and survival, involved the very garments they chose to embrace their forms. Imagine for a moment the feel of the finest linen. A fabric woven with an ancient art, supple, breathable, almost luminous in its lightness. It was the whisper of linen that graced the skin of those who lived in these sun-drenched lands, a fabric born from the flax plant, cultivated with care along the life-giving rivers. You can almost hear the soft rustle of it as someone moves, a sound as gentle as the turning pages of an ancient scroll. This wasn't merely cloth, it was a second skin, designed to breathe with you, allowing moisture to evaporate, leaving a sensation of cool, dry air against your body. The styles were as elegant in their simplicity as the desert landscape itself. Loose, flowing tunics and robes, often reaching to the ankles, allowed the precious air to circulate freely around the body. The wide sleeves, sometimes flaring dramatically, acted like gentle bellows, inviting any stray breeze to pass through and offer its fleeting refreshment. There were no tight constraints, no heavy layers that would trap the heat. Instead, the garments draped gracefully, creating pockets of shade and air, offering protection from the sun's direct rays without sacrificing comfort. Think of the way a cool current might eddy around a stone in a slow-moving river. These clothes created similar eddies of coolness around the body. Headwear was equally vital, not merely for adornment but as a practical shield. Turbans, wrapped with practiced ease, or simple headscarves draped elegantly over the head and neck, provided a crucial barrier against the relentless sun. The layers of fabric caught the light, reflecting much of the heat before it could reach the scalp. And sometimes, on days when the heat felt particularly oppressive, a corner of the headscarf might be dipped in cool water, offering a temporary, blessed relief as the moisture slowly evaporated, carrying the heat away. Listen closely, and you might almost hear the soft sigh of relief as cool dampness touched sun-warmed skin. Even the simplest sandals were chosen with a clear understanding of comfort in the heat. Open designs, often with sturdy leather soles and minimal straps, allowed the feet to breathe, keeping them from becoming overheated. To enclose the feet completely would be to invite discomfort, so the wisdom of ages guided the artisans to create footwear that offered protection from the hot ground while welcoming the breeze. And then there was adornment, a subtle art that transcended mere beauty. Imagine the cool, smooth touch of a polished lapis lazuli bead or a piece of silver against your skin. While primarily decorative, these materials offered their own gentle contribution to comfort. Silver, a metal known for its cool touch, might have been fashioned into delicate bangles or necklaces, providing a fleeting sensation of coolness as it shifted against the skin. Lapis, with its deep, oceanic blue, conjured images of cool water and the vast, refreshing sky, perhaps offering a psychological balm against the heat. Even coal, used to line the eyes, did more than enhance beauty. Its dark pigment was also believed to offer some protection for the eyes against the sun's intensity, a practical belief that also lent an air of mystique. The daily ritual of donning these garments was a quiet affirmation of resilience and ingenuity. To feel the fresh, clean linen against one's skin after a morning wash, to carefully arrange the headscarf, to slip one's feet into cool sandals, each step was a gentle preparation, a way of embracing the day's warmth while subtly, skillfully, keeping it at bay. It was a testament to how even the smallest details, the softest whispers of fabric and the gentle gleam of stone, were woven into the larger tapestry of staying cool and comfortable in the ancient desert cities. Let these images of quiet comfort, of light fabrics and cool adornments, settle softly around you, bringing a sense of peace and gentle ease as you drift into your own restful stillness. Imagine now, as the gentle arc of the desert day approaches its tranquil peak, the sun at its highest, painting the world in shades of warm gold and ochre. While the outside world shimmers with an almost palpable heat, within the cool embrace of an ancient home, a different kind of comfort awaits. It is a comfort not only found in thick walls and shaded courtyards, but also in the very nourishment that sustains life, a culinary wisdom, passed down through generations, that understood how to tame the sun's fiercest kiss with a taste of coolness. Listen for a moment to the soft murmurs from a shaded cooking area, perhaps the rhythmic clinking of pottery, or the gentle swish of water being drawn from a nearby well. The air, though warm, carries a different fragrance here, not the parched scent of the sands, but the delicate perfume of freshly gathered mint, the sweet promise of ripe melon, and the earthy aroma of grains gently cooking. Water, of course, was the essence of survival, and its cooling was an art. Imagine reaching for a porous clay jar, known as a cooler or chorus its surface perpetually damp from the slow evaporation that chills the water within. The feel of the cool, rough clay against your palm, the refreshing sip of water, perhaps infused with a sprig of garden mint or a delicate drop of rosewater, instantly brings a sense of inner peace. It is not just a drink, it is a ritual of replenishment, a moment of profound calm in the heart of the day. Beyond plain water, the ingenious inhabitants of these ancient cities crafted beverages that were both hydrating and deeply satisfying. Picture a tall, slender vessel filled with a deep ruby liquid of diluted pomegranate juice, its tartness a vibrant counterpoint to the heat, or perhaps the mellow sweetness of grape juice, pressed fresh from sun-ripened clusters. For a more substantial cooling, a drink made from fermented barley, a light, subtly fermented brew, might be offered, its mild tang a gentle cleanser for the palate. These were not merely thirst quenchers, they were elixirs of comfort, each sip a tiny reprieve, a soothing balm for the body's warmth. Then, consider the fruits, the desert's jewel-toned bounty, brought forth from the heart of the oasis. Imagine a platter laden with glistening, emerald-green melons, their sweet, watery flesh offering instant refreshment. Perhaps there are plump, sticky dates, their rich sweetness a concentrated burst of energy and coolness, or the delicate, honeyed figs, split open to reveal their soft, seed-filled interiors. The vibrant blush of ripe pomegranates, their jewel-like arils bursting with tart sweet juice, offers another delightful sensation. These fruits, often kept in cool, dark storage rooms, or even submerged in cool water before serving, were a natural gift of hydration and essential sustenance, eaten slowly, savored for their intrinsic coolness and flavor. Vegetables, too, played a vital role in this symphony of cooling. Envision crisp, cool slices of cucumber, perhaps from a variety much like those we know today, their refreshing crunch a delightful sensation. Leafy greens, carefully cultivated in the shade of date palms, would be lightly dressed with a drizzle of locally pressed olive oil and a squeeze of lemon or a splash of verjuice, seasoned with a sprinkle of salt and fresh herbs like cilantro or dill. These simple salads, vibrant and light, provided essential moisture and nutrients without burdening the body with heavy digestion. They were a testament to the wisdom of eating in harmony with one's environment, a delicate balance of flavors designed to soothe and invigorate. The gentle richness of dairy also offered profound comfort. Imagine a bowl of thick, creamy yogurt, perhaps made from goat or sheep's milk, its cool tang offering a soothing counterpoint to the day's warmth. Sometimes, this yogurt might be thinned with water and seasoned with mint, becoming a revitalizing drink known as Leben or Aaron light and easily digestible. Alongside this, a soft, fresh cheese, crumbly and mild, might be served with flatbreads, offering a delicate protein that nourished without overheating. These dairy products, often fermented, brought a healthy balance to the diet and were prized for their cooling properties, a welcome respite on even the warmest days. As evening approaches and the heat begins its slow retreat, the culinary comforts continued. Meals would often be light, prepared in the cooler parts of the day. Think of fragrant lentil stews, simmered gently with aromatic spices like cumin and coriander, their warmth comforting rather than overwhelming, or simple porridges of barley, prepared with milk or water, offering a grounding end to the day. The cooking itself was often done over slow fires, allowing for gentle preparation, and the communal act of sharing these meals in the cooling air of a courtyard, under the first shimmering stars, was as much a part of the comfort as the food itself. Allow your mind to drift now with these images of ancient culinary wisdom. The subtle scent of mint, the cool touch of clay, the sweet burst of a date, the refreshing tang of yogurt. Feel the sensation of gentle coolness spreading from within, a serene warmth that settles in your chest, calming and comforting. Let these ancient tastes and traditions guide you, a quiet lullaby of nourishment and peace, as you prepare to welcome the stillness of the deepening night. As the sun climbed higher, asserting its undisputed reign over the ancient desert city, there came a point in the day when even the most ingeniously designed wind catchers and shaded courtyards offered only a partial reprieve. The air shimmered, and the very stones of the city seemed to radiate the accumulated heat of the ages. It was in these hours, when the world above felt like a vast, shimmering oven, that the people of these resilient cities sought a profound and simple sanctuary, the cool embrace of the earth itself. Imagine, if you will, the desire for such a retreat. Picture a narrow, unassuming doorway, perhaps tucked away within a courtyard or integrated into the base of a sturdy mud brick home. You step through, and immediately, the air changes. It's not a sudden, jarring shift, but a gentle, progressive descent into a world apart. The light begins to soften, dimming from the fierce glare of midday to a soothing twilight, a world of deep shadows and mellow hues. With each step downwards, whether into a cellar carved from bedrock, a subterranean chamber beneath a grand house, or perhaps even a natural cave system adapted for human comfort, the difference in temperature becomes wonderfully palpable. Listen for a moment to the subtle change in sound. The insistent hum of the bustling city, the distant cries of vendors, the rustle of palms in the heat-laden breeze, all begin to recede, muffled by the thick, insulating layers of earth and stone above. Here, in this quiet descent, you might hear only the soft shuffle of your own footsteps, or the gentle drip of moisture from a distant hidden spring, echoing faintly in the cool, still air. The air itself is different down here. It carries the distinct, comforting scent of cool earth, a subtle dampness, and perhaps the faint, sweet aroma of stored provisions, dates ripening slowly in earthenware jars, precious oils kept from the sun's harsh gaze, bundles of dried herbs hanging from wooden beams. Your fingers might brush against the cool, smooth surface of a stone wall as you navigate a gently sloping passage, feeling its ancient, grounding solidity. This isn't the oppressive chill of a winter's night, but a deep, natural coolness, a consistent temperature maintained by the Earth's vast, insulating bulk, oblivious to the scorching drama unfolding on the surface. These subterranean spaces served many purposes. For some, they were simply storage, safe havens for precious grains and water, ensuring the community's survival through long, lean seasons. For others, they were workshops, where delicate crafts that demanded a stable temperature could be pursued without fear of warping wood or cracking clay. But for many, they were places of profound personal respite. During the hottest hours of the afternoon, families would gather in these cool chambers, spreading out woven mats on the earthen floor. Children might nap soundly, escaping the heat's draining energy, while elders might engage in quiet conversation, their voices hushed, or simply sit in serene contemplation, enjoying the profound peace that settled around them. Imagine the relief of stretching out on a cool mat, feeling the gentle embrace of the earth beneath you, the dim light inviting your eyes to close. The air here is still, often with a subtle, almost imperceptible air current moving through carefully designed ventilation shafts, carrying the cool, heavy air from deeper recesses. It's a place where the body can truly relax, shedding the tension accumulated from hours spent under the desert sun. Here, time seems to slow, taking on the languid rhythm of the cool, dark earth itself. These retreats below the surface were not merely architectural feats, they were embodiments of ancient wisdom, a testament to humanity's enduring ability to adapt and thrive even in the most challenging environments. They offered not just physical coolness, but a mental and spiritual sanctuary, a profound sense of safety and calm. As the afternoon slowly yields to the evening, and the sun begins its own gentle descent towards the horizon, the coolness of these chambers remains, a lingering comfort before the promise of the stars above. So, as you rest now, let the image of these cool, subterranean havens settle gently within your mind. Feel the deep, refreshing coolness of the earth, the quiet calm, the sense of absolute peace that comes from being sheltered and safe. Allow that profound sense of grounded tranquility to envelop you, knowing that in these ancient retreats, every breath was a whisper of relief, a gentle invitation to rest and be still. As the last vibrant streaks of orange and purple bled from the western sky, painting the distant dunes in hues of bruised plums and fading roses, a profound shift began to settle over the ancient desert city. The relentless, shimmering heat that had held the world captive for hours slowly, almost imperceptibly, began to loosen its grip. Imagine for a moment the air, still warm against your skin, but no longer searing, now carrying the faintest whisper of a breeze, a promise of the cool embrace that awaited. The day's activities, which had pulsed with a diligent, if subdued, energy under the scorching sun, now yielded to a gentle quietude. The clang of the metalsmith's hammer had long fallen silent, the bustling chatter of the market stalls had quieted to a murmur, and even the insistent buzz of flies seemed to fade with the light. This was the hour of release, the moment when the city collectively exhaled, preparing for the most anticipated gift of the desert, the tranquil coolness of the night. Families, who had sought refuge in the deepest, coolest recesses of their homes or beneath the shade of towering palms during the hottest part of the day, now began to stir with a renewed sense of purpose. For many, the true bedroom of the desert was not within four walls, but beneath the boundless expanse of the heavens. Listen for a moment, and you might hear the soft rustle of reed mats being unrolled, the gentle sigh of linen sheets unfurling, as sleeping arrangements were made on flat rooftops or within the sheltered courtyards of homes. The very stones of the city, which had absorbed the sun's fierce energy all day, now began to radiate a soft, residual warmth, a comforting memory of the sun, soon to be overcome by the refreshing chill of the night air. The sky deepened from indigo to a velvet black, and one by one, then by the thousand, the stars began to prickle through, like diamonds scattered across an infinite cloth. The moon, perhaps a slender crescent, perhaps a full, luminous orb, cast long, ethereal shadows across the familiar landscape, transforming it into a realm of silver and deepest shadow. Lying on your mat, perhaps a simple weave of palm fibers or reeds, you would feel the last lingering warmth from the rooftop dissipate, replaced by a delicious coolness that seeped into your skin, chasing away the day's fatigue. A light linen cloth, perhaps dyed with subtle earth tones or undyed and bleached by the sun, would serve as your only cover, a comforting weight against the growing chill. The air, now truly cool, carried new scents that only emerged with the evening. The dry, dusty scent of the desert floor mingled with the faint, sweet perfume of night-blooming jasmine from a nearby garden, or the lingering aroma of herbs and spices from the evening meal, now cooling in earthenware pots. From a distance, carried on the gentle breeze, you might catch the faint, melancholy hoot of an owl, or the distant, almost ghostly howl of a jackal, reminders that even in the quiet of the city, the vast desert ecosystem continued its nocturnal rhythm, but these sounds would feel far away, softened by the secure walls and the presence of your neighbors sleeping peacefully nearby. Imagine drifting off to sleep with the boundless dome of the night sky as your ceiling. Each star a tiny pinprick of ancient light, each one a silent guardian in the vast, inky blackness. There was a profound sense of connection to the universe, an awareness of your small, precious place within its grandeur. The gentle breathing of family members, the softest whispers of the wind through an open archway, the occasional rustle of a palm frond, these were the lullabies of the ancient desert night. The deep, restorative sleep that followed was a gift, a complete surrender to the coolness and peace that only darkness could bring. It was a time for the body to fully recuperate from the day's intensity, to shed the last vestiges of heat and prepare for the cycle to begin anew. As you lie there, feeling the cool breath of the desert night on your face, let the quiet stillness seep into your very bones. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your own breath, a steady rhythm in the vast silence. The stresses of the day, the worries of tomorrow, gently recede, much like the desert heat under the canopy of stars. Allow yourself to be cradled by this ancient peace, protected and soothed, as you drift into a deep, untroubled slumber, a quiet farewell to the day and a welcoming of profound rest. As the sun began its gentle descent, painting the western sky in hues of soft peach and fading rose, a different kind of warmth began to emanate from the ancient city itself, the warmth of shared life, of collective ingenuity. For while individual homes were sanctuaries of shade and clever design, the true genius of enduring the desert heat often lay in the quiet, unspoken agreements and shared efforts of the community. Imagine, if you will, the narrow labyrinthine streets, not as mere pathways, but as canyons carved by human hands, designed to cast long, permanent shadows across each other. The very proximity of one mud brick wall to another, the jutting eaves extending just so, created a communal canopy that protected not just a single dwelling, but the entire thoroughfare, allowing a precious strip of cool air to linger long after the sun had climbed high. Listen closely, and you might hear the soft shuffle of feet on packed earth, moving through these shaded veins of the city. These weren't just routes, they were shared refuges, pathways where the subtle drop in temperature was palpable, a gentle invitation to slow your pace. People moved with a quiet understanding, their movements unhurried, respecting the cool pockets that belonged, in a sense, to everyone. You might pass a shared well, its cool waters drawn up in a sturdy leather bucket, the rhythmic creak of the rope a comforting lullaby. Here, neighbors would gather, not just for the life-giving water, but for the momentary respite offered by the damp earth around the wellhead, the cool stone coping, and the quiet exchange of greetings and observations. The collective drawing of water, a simple act, became a shared moment of coolness. Consider the grand courtyards, often open to several homes, or the larger public squares shaded by date palms. These weren't merely open spaces, they were vital organs of the city's cooling system. The palms, carefully planted and nurtured through generations, offered a dappled shade that danced on the ground, creating shifting patterns of light and dark. Here, children might play in the late afternoon, their laughter echoing softly off the cool walls, while elders sat on woven mats, sharing stories in the gentle breeze that stirred the fronds above. The air here felt different, lighter, carrying the faint, sweet scent of ripening dates and the earthy fragrance of damp soil from recent watering. This shared green space was a testament to communal effort, a living, breathing testament to their unity in the face of the sun. Even the architecture, in its seeming simplicity, spoke of this collective wisdom. The thick, sun-baked mud brick walls, so adept at insulating individual homes, also worked in concert. They absorbed the day's heat slowly, releasing it gradually into the cooler night air, but more importantly, their sheer mass and proximity meant that the city itself became like a vast, slow-breathing form, its very substance moderating the extreme temperature swings for all within its embrace by slowly holding the day's warmth and releasing it gently into the night. Imagine the feeling of leaning against a sun-warmed wall at dusk, feeling the last vestiges of the day's heat slowly dissipate into the lengthening shadows, a silent promise of the cool night to come. As evening descended, the city truly came alive with the spirit of shared coolness. Families would emerge from their private sanctuaries, drawn by the quiet lure of communal spaces. Flat rooftops, once places for drying goods, transformed into social hubs. Here, under the vast, star-dusted canopy, neighbors would gather, bringing simple mats and cushions, sharing stories and perhaps a light evening meal. the faint murmur of conversations, the gentle clink of earthenware bowls, the soft rustle of linen garments as people shifted for comfort, these were the sounds of a community finding solace together. The heat of the day, now a fading memory, was replaced by the refreshing coolness of the night, a coolness made all the more enjoyable by the shared experience. Listen for the distant, rhythmic beat of a hand drum, or the soft notes of a reed pipe, perhaps from a gathering further down the street. These melodies would drift on the night air, connecting one group of stargazers to another, blending into a soft harmony of shared peace. There was a unique comfort in knowing that countless others across the city were also experiencing this profound shift, this collective sigh of relief as the desert air turned blessedly cool. The stars above seemed to shine brighter, the silence deeper, punctuated only by these gentle sounds of shared contentment. The wisdom of staying cool was not a secret held by a few, but a living tradition passed down through generations. Grandparents would instruct children on the best times to venture out, the coolest spots to rest, the most efficient ways to use water, and the importance of shared responsibilities. It was in the communal maintenance of irrigation channels that brought water to their oasis gardens, in the collective effort to build and repair shade structures, and in the shared knowledge of cooling techniques that lightened the burden for all. This was a society where shared hardship fostered shared solutions, where individual ingenuity was multiplied by the power of community. So, as you settle deeper into your own quiet space, imagine this ancient desert city, not just as a collection of individual homes, but as a single, breathing entity, its pulse regulated by the collective efforts of its people. Feel the comforting presence of countless others around you, all part of this intricate weave of life, all sharing in the ancient wisdom of staying cool. The quiet hum of their collective life, the gentle sounds of their shared peace, now drift through the ages, wrapping around you, a timeless lullaby of communal comfort and enduring ingenuity. Let the echoes of their tranquil evening gathering settle upon you, a final, soft embrace of shared coolness, guiding you towards your own peaceful slumber. As the last vestiges of the desert sun dip below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of soft rose and deep violet, a profound quiet descends upon the ancient city. The air, once shimmering with heat, now carries a gentle coolness, a breath of relief after the day's warmth. We have walked these sun-kissed sands together, explored the ingenious ways in which life not only survived but thrived in the heart of the desert. Now, in this tranquil twilight, we pause to consider the lasting echoes of that ancient wisdom, the quiet lessons whispered through centuries of wind and sand. Imagine, for a moment, the sturdy, sun-baked walls of mud brick, thick and strong, carefully oriented to catch the morning light and deflect the harsh afternoon glare. Recall the silent, shadowed courtyards, where a stray breeze might dance, carrying the faint scent of jasmine or mint from a modest garden. These were not mere structures, they were living envelopes, crafted with an intimate understanding of the sun's journey, designed to breathe, to offer sanctuary, and to store the day's warmth only to release it slowly into the cool embrace of night. Listen closely, and you might almost hear the faint murmur of ancient conversations carried on those cooling currents. And then, there was the gift of water, the lifeblood of these arid lands. Remember the gentle gurgle of a hidden canat, bringing sweet, cool water from beneath the earth, a sound that promises refreshment and life. Picture the small, elegant fountains in courtyards, their delicate splashes not just beautiful to behold, but actively cooling the air through evaporation. Feel the cool dampness of a rush mat, subtly drawing heat from the air. This was water not just for drinking, but for soothing, for cooling, for creating microclimates of comfort within the demanding desert landscape. It was a precious resource, treated with reverence, its every drop contributing to a cooler existence. The rhythm of daily life, too, was a carefully choreographed dance with the sun. The wise practice of quiet repose during the hottest hours was not a luxury but a necessity, a sensible acknowledgement of the body's needs. Picture the cool, smooth touch of fine linen against the skin, loose and flowing, allowing the air to circulate freely. Consider the refreshing taste of a cool drink, perhaps water infused with dried fruit or fragrant herbs, offering an internal coolness that complements the external efforts. These personal choices, seemingly small, collectively wove a tapestry of comfort, allowing the inhabitants to move through their days with grace and ease. This wisdom was rarely isolated, it was a shared inheritance, passed down through generations. Imagine the collective effort, the shared knowledge that went into digging those long, arduous canal tunnels, or building robust shade structures for communal gatherings. Feel the sense of community as families gathered on rooftops beneath the vast, star-studded sky, sharing stories and the gentle night breezes. The ingenuity was not just in the individual techniques, but in the way these techniques were integrated into a holistic way of life, supported by the entire community, fostering a deep respect for the environment and for each other. These ancient desert dwellers understood something profound, that true comfort in a challenging environment isn't about fighting nature, but about understanding it, working with its rhythms, and finding ingenious ways to adapt. Their solutions were elegant in their simplicity, sustainable in their execution, and deeply attuned to the materials and forces at hand. They teach us that resourcefulness, patience, and a keen eye for observation can unlock remarkable possibilities, transforming harshness into a subtle, enduring comfort. It's a quiet testament to the enduring human spirit, finding peace even in the most demanding landscapes. As the moon begins its slow ascent, casting long, silver shadows across the sleeping city, the air grows cooler still. The sounds of the day have faded, replaced by the soft whisper of the night wind, perhaps the distant call of an owl, or the gentle rustle of palm fronds. The memory of the day's heat is now a distant echo, replaced by the deep, enveloping coolness of the desert night. All the efforts, all the wisdom, all the careful design, culminate in this moment of tranquil repose. Let your mind drift now, carrying these gentle images with you. The cool, sturdy embrace of ancient walls. The soft, rhythmic flow of unseen water. The quiet beauty of a starlit night. The sense of ancient wisdom, a comforting blanket woven from ingenuity and respect for the earth. You are safe, you are comfortable, you are at peace. Let the echoes of this ancient world lull you deeper into serenity. Feel the gentle stillness settling all around you. Allow your breath to deepen, to slow. Feel yourself completely at ease. Sleep now. Let go of all thoughts. Rest deeply. Sleep soundly now.